Okay, so the latest project I've worked on is, I don't know if you remember, see how well I can show this. Maybe it'll show better up on something dark, or even here. Let's put it back on here. But the glass on this odometer is just all scratched to hell, and some of them are really, really deep. So I was trying to find just the glass bezel part, or plastic. It's not glass, but the plastic part, I couldn't find them anywhere. And then I also noticed, and I don't know if this broke from doing everything, but this little piece on my tack broke. So I came up with the idea. I found these on Amazon, and I want to say they were, I don't know, $5 a piece maybe. They are 4-inch round, 1/8 inch thick pieces of plexiglass, clear acrylic. So that's it right there. I also got 16th inch because I wasn't exactly sure, but the 1/8 inch is closer to the depth of the bezels. So if you kind of look, the ones that were there, so it's closer to that. It's really close. So what I did was I took the Dremel, and then, because it's a little bit too big, not much, just a little bit, but I took Dremel and just started grinding away on the edge all the way around. And then I put it in, and I'd mark with a black Sharpie, and maybe I'll show you as I'm doing this one, where it needed to be thinned out a little bit more. And that is the result. I think it came out really good. So I've got 2 more that I have to do. I think I'm just going to go ahead and replace those. I hope that doesn't affect, like, I can't imagine that it would, but I think it turned out really, really well. And so I couldn't find these. So the alternatives were leave the scratched ones on there and just have to look at that every time I look at my instrument cluster, or buy a new speedometer, which was like $100 to do that instead of $15 for those. And then also I'd probably need to buy another whole unit just to get this piece if I wanted to fill that in. And maybe I could find one somewhere or something. But yeah, I think that worked out really, really well. It won't have that bubble look to it, but you know what? That's fine. So I don't have it hunkered down yet, but it fits, and it's nice. It's tight. It doesn't move. It doesn't shake at all. So it's in there nice and tight. And I think what I'll actually do is just take this one back out and use that as a guide and just put it on there and just use my Sharpie to draw around it, and I'll know exactly how far I have to cut down. But it took probably about 15-20 minutes using the Dremel, and then put it down, mark where I needed to do, come back, do those, and because you can always take more off. You can't put more on. There's a couple of spots that are a little shallow, but that's okay because you can't see it because of the ring that goes around it. So it doesn't need to be absolutely spot on perfect. As long as it fits in there nice and snug, the ring will hide any imperfections because you can't even see the edges of it. So success on that. Go ahead and do the other ones. So as I was taking this out, I just wanted to show you what I meant. See, so here it's a little deep. It's not perfect, but it's enough that when you put it in, I mean, it sits in there and it won't jiggle in there, especially because you got to kind of almost snap it in. So there's enough of the edges that are touching. So I'll just be a little more careful maybe on the second one here. But we're all good. All right, let's see if I can show you how I did this. It's going to be hard with one hand. Just turn that on. that's basically all I did. Like I said, I used the other one as a template, so I know where to drill to or cut down to. But yeah, there we go. All right, all right, all right. So all three of them are done. And then, just so you guys know, what I did for the speedometer, and I guess I should have shown this before I put it back together, was I took the old one and I just set it over the top of the new plastic that fit in the hole. I made it fit first, put this on top of it, marked the hole. I used a Sharpie and just went down through the hole on and touched the plastic below it, this piece of plastic, so I knew where to drill. And it came out, I mean, it was spot on. The hole might be a little bit big if you want to get real touchy, you know. But it's spot on. And these turned out really, really nice. The only thing I can hope for is that there isn't a glare or something on them, but I know other people have done the same thing. And I haven't heard that. So who knows? Maybe I'll try to sell these. Because two of them are good. If I can get this little piece off here. And see if anybody might, you know what, I mean, if anybody wants them. But I might hold on to them for a little bit just to make sure. But yeah, because you can't find just the plastic pieces anywhere. So, gauges are done. Just so you know, I double checked. So they're 4-inch acrylic pieces. This is the 1/8 inch depth or thickness. I got them off of Amazon. They were $5. So this cost $15 to do in just a little bit of time. I spent maybe an hour, maybe a little bit more, doing the glass part, spraying the rings took, some time, but, yeah, $15 to fix those. A lot better than buying all new gauges or having to buy gauges just to replace one of the plastic things. The 16th inch ones were actually, and those are getting returned. Those were $10 a piece. They were double. Interesting, right? But, all right. Okay, so we moved some stuff around in the shop. So we put the compressor over here on this ledge. That way it can be plugged directly in. I went ahead and I bought that. I finally got the fittings. Got some of my air tools and some sanding discs. So we're going to start sanding down some of the areas that I need to sand, especially like on the other side of the car. But it was just easier to move this and stick this up here and leave it plugged in, and that way I can, the hose is long enough that it'll reach over there. So we'll just start grinding away on things. All right, so we've got it cleaned up and cut out better. For the most part, I've got good metal. There's a couple of spots that are going to be a problem. I'm going to have to figure out how to fill those with something, just because, I mean, like here, you can see like right there is not going to be good metal. Right there isn't. But there's just no way to get everything down to perfectly good metal. If I do, that's just going to wear right through because it's so thin. Same with down here, and then here I ended up having to go around. This is one of the holes for where the fender attaches. So, and then there was a little extra piece here, so I went around that. But everything got cut out pretty easy. Started working on the battery tray too, but I was having a tough time getting in there. I couldn't really get in there with my flap wheel that I had. I tried using some of the sanding pads that I have here. Those didn't really work well, so I did go ahead and buy flap wheels for that. And I also bought some grinding wheels for the Dremel. as well. What you see mostly there was done with that sanding, and then I did have a couple of flap wheels for the Dremel, but they don't last that long. But once again, it's so pitted. I mean, that's good metal. But it also kind of comes up. You can see it comes up here too. So it's not that big of an area, but it's something that definitely does need to be cut out and done correctly, which I will do. I just have to figure out how the best way to do that. I want to try to avoid having to cut this out or this out, and then I'll sand the rest, repaint it, and clean up the rest. But yeah, so we got that going, and then I got to work on the other side still too. But I've got to jack the car up, and I've got to work on the insides. So today's was just trying to get these done and kind of work on the battery as best as I could. So we got that all cut out. I'm going to try my best here. This is going to be interesting. So I made a template out of cardboard, and then I transferred it to the sheet metal. So now I've got to cut it out of the sheet metal, and then trial and error and fit it in there and try to weld. So I think what I'm going to do, because it looks like originally it was bent over and welded underneath and then filled in with like I don't know, it's almost like Bondo-ish, rubbery Bondo stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to weld just a piece on top of this. Then get a piece and weld the piece here. And then I got a little bit right there. And then use sealer, clean it up, prime it, and then Flex Seal makes this like rubbery paint stuff. I think then I'm going to coat the whole entire battery tray in that to seal it even more. I think is what I'm going to try to do, just to make sure that it does not leak at all. So I got that done today. I got that stuff done today. And that's it. My back is killing me. So we will start another day and go ahead and try cutting that out, and I don't know, maybe try welding it in. I haven't really practiced a whole lot, but I mean, who really cares what this looks like if it's going to get covered up anyway? Might as well practice welding, putting this in. So there you go. Well, today's work was the driver's side, getting everything kind of cut out so we can really kind of take a look at what we got. I mean, it's not, you know, I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do it, but it's not the worst thing in the world. None of it's structural. It's not like it's the frame or anything. So you got that. And then we've got one there. So that's the front of the car. So all that and that. So this is the inside of the car. You can see the emergency brake right there. So, and then when it rusted out, it's like the metal split, and it split all the way back to here. Now that I could just weld that seam back up. This, I'm not sure, but I think it's because this is pushing up on this part, and that's causing this to be lower than this. But
once again, you know, you got some of the inner that's rusted out too. So that's got to be addressed. So, and the other side is like this as well. The front isn't done. Isn't messed up, but it's got sections like this as well. It's actually a little worse on that side. It's the weirdest thing. So, lots of work.